Today we're going to be talking about horror movies that are actually scary. Starting off the list, Incantation. If you haven't seen this movie, watch that movie first and come back here. Because that movie is... I thought I was being possessed. I thought I was being haunted after that movie. That's a whole different ass feeling. The movie gaslit me into cursing myself in the beginning of the movie. The beginning of the movie begins with a bunch of videos asking you to interact with it. I'm over there watching it and I'm like, oh yeah, the donkey, that's the horse. And then I'm like, what the fuck? Am I possessed now? Why am I doing this? This is a horror movie about possession. This is happening. I am so confused right now. Bro, I have never watched a movie that made me believe that I was cursed. It just manipulated me. It was like, repeat after me, look at this, see yourself in the mirror, gather your thoughts, rethink all your life choices, regret, you possess. With some pizzazz. Okay, it was so out of pocket. They're completing my little thing in the beginning of the movie and following with the instruction. You're now officially spiritually bankrupt. And I'm just sitting there like, let's go on with the movie. And you know how much I love found footage style shit. I eat that. Blair Witch Project. I love found footage. It's so immersive when done properly. Gallows, not done properly, no offense, good movie, but we'll talk about Gallows in another video. But you like horror movies, you watch them from a distance. But with found footage style, you basically are there with the person suffering. Bro, the creepy ritual clips, bro. I was legit like my breath under the blanket, just like I was being possessed. Like, that shit away from me. The first time I watched it, I kind of watched it with a friend and it didn't hit the same. I didn't even finish it, to be honest. Maybe I thought it was ass. I thought it was doo-doo water. I thought it was dog. But after a second rewatch by myself, with all that time by myself, just me alone in my living room in the dark watching this, feeling like I was being gaslit into being possessed. The movie is actually good and pretty scary, because this is, you came here for the scary movies, right? Here you go. Incantation, a pretty fucking scary movie. Most horror movies where you experience possessions, being haunted, poltergeist, it's very simple rules, like say the ghost name 3 times, you play the haunted game. These are like big things to do. Those are, this movie had no fucking chill. You blinked, congratulations, you're spiritually fucking bankrupt. You are now officially possessed. You watch this movie, that's enough, you're possessed. You exist, yeah, now you're cursed. What? It wasn't a horror movie even, it was an interactive punishment. I genuinely felt like I was being haunted. And to add to all of that, the sound design, how, like, you can have a scene, you found footage scene, whatever, with things around you that aren't scary, but then they add in like screams from a distance and you're like, is that my fucking neighbor at 3 a.m? You know what I mean? I felt so bad for the main lead of this film. Also, the main lead was a mother and she had a daughter. I also felt really bad for the daughter because of the mother's luck and the mother's fucking decisions. I don't know who made her drive into that fucking monk spiritual ritual shit, but why not bring my daughter? Like at some points the ghosts weren't even hunting her on the fucking, bro, there was a scene, let me tell you, okay, this is a spoiler, so if you could just skip ahead like seconds. Okay, 3, 2, 1. There was a scene on the ceiling, there was a thing crawling and it was so fucking scary and I was just shitting my fucking pants and I thought I looked at my ceiling and there was nothing. Like, fucking god, I'm not possessed, I'm not spiritually from the shadow realm or whatever the fuck. Let me talk about the last scene of the movie that had me on my toes. Even though I was laying on my couch, my toes were on the ground. My toes were curled up. There was a final moment where mainly was tells us, the viewers, to finish a fucking chant for her. I'm sorry, girl. TV off. I legit like paused the movie. I had to rethink my whole life and why I watched this movie and had a whole ass existential crisis at the right page of 24. So my final thoughts about this movie is, the sound design was great, the found footage style was great, how this horror movie made you fear for your own fucking sanity and life and being possessed or not, worrying about that on top of your bills and everything else in life. But final thoughts, it was an amazing horror movie, amazing experience. I highly recommend you to watch it if you haven't seen Incantation. The disturbing imagery, the rituals, the sound design, the found footage, everything about it, it's actually perfect for a horror movie. I don't remember last time I've seen a horror movie that properly likes me, except It, but we're not going to talk about it in this movie. I don't know why, maybe I have no taste in movies, but I genuinely, when It came out, I loved it. I loved it so much I went to the movie theater 4 times to watch it. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, Incantation is a psychological horror, really fucks with you, the viewer, which a lot of horrors don't really do. They just focus on the characters, but they're like out of the screen, like Marvel now, like Hulk, like you there. You're fucking possessed. Congratulations. Thank you for watching this movie. The disturbing imagery, there's so much blood, so much gore. The list goes on. And again, the curse that I felt personally involved in, personally attacks us. Why? What I do? I watch movie, please. But yeah, the movie ever asks you to follow the directions and then points at you and says, "I'm cursed." Turn off the movie. J fucking K. Give this movie a watch. This was an amazing film. Not talked about enough, to be honest with. I don't remember the last time anyone, actually, I'm just kidding. But genuinely, I don't remember anyone ever talking about Incantation. It was on Netflix that one day and I was like, oh, this should look scary. Let me watch it. Especially if you love like ghost movies. Amazing. We got Conjuring. Oh, Archie, you're just such a basic guy. Conjuring. Everyone knows Conjuring. Yes, but there's a reason why Conjuring is so popular and it's still talked about till this day. Again, I'm not trying to be basic or based, but there is a reason that it's still talked about until today and why there's so many other Conjuring movies. Conjuring 1 and 2 were the best Conjuring. Hot take or not? Also, remember when I mentioned The Conjuring in my previous video where I mentioned watching it as a child? It was my first ever horror movie. And boy, am I glad that's my first horror movie. So as I mentioned it previously, I watched it when I was a child, just a little teeny tiny Archie. And I shit my pants. Well, I didn't actually shit my pants, but you get the gist. So I was like, Conjuring was great. Let me rewatch it as an adult in my mid-20s. And guess what? Nothing has changed. There were so many great things about the Conjuring movie. I'll keep it short and simple for you guys. If you watch Conjuring, then you know about the clapping game. The hide and clap. Imagine having the balls and the shits to play hide and seek, but with clapping. And in the same house, your doors automatically open, like in a fucking grocery store. Except it's a home and the doors are not supposed to be opening like that. The mom was like, fun family game. And the ghost was like, huh. But that one moment where the hands clap behind her back in the basement, do you remember that? I think I needed to see a therapist as a child after watching that scene. But to be fair with you, I don't think it was the ghost clapping in that basement. I think it was the audience and everyone watching, me included, clapping because of the joy and relief that we weren't the ones in her fucking boots or sneakers or whatever the fuck she was wearing at her home, maybe house slippers. We were clapping that it wasn't us having to go through that shit. Also, one of the main leads, Lorraine Warren, that girl was built different. Like if I heard clapping behind me, if I heard some noise in the middle of the night, my ass would be tucked under the bed, under my blankie, just chilling there, waiting for the noise to go away. But my girl is built different. She walks into the ghost's personal space and is like, are you paying bills around here, boy? Your ass about to be evicted. She doesn't care. She just hears the noise, boom, waltz there. What makes this movie so terrifying is the sound design, the cinematography, I don't understand who comes up with these ideas. The hand clapping game, like I would be shitting myself writing if I ever had that idea of writing it down. I'd be shitting myself. If you haven't watched this movie, give it a watch. If you want to be spooked, give it a watch. Trust me, I couldn't sleep last night when I rewatched it. TBH. Also, honorable mention, but we thought The Conjuring was scary. We had like a whole MCU crossover, a whole multiverse with The Conjuring when they introduced the little Barbie doll from Annabelle. My girl was just sitting there in the opening scene, and she's like, this movie's scary? Wait until you see my spin-off. Which, to be fair, Annabelle was also scary as shit, but we're not gonna talk about Annabelle in this video. But yeah, the biggest reason this movie was such a hit was it was creative. It was something that's never been done before. Hence, the whole last franchise with the Conjuring movies just keep coming in every single year. But guess what? You know, they're not as good as the first one or the second one. I still watch them. I still eat that shit up. What I took away from watching this movie the second time was I learned that if a ghost ever claps in my house, to clap back and run away. Or option number 2, just evict them, like our main lead does. You should watch The Conjuring if you haven't, or you should rewatch it if you haven't seen it in a while. Trust me, it's worth it. So yeah, we'll have to do it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave down in the comments your thoughts, opinions, what you want to see next. I personally really love doing horror movie reviews now. If that's something you want to see more in the future, please let me know. Please comment your thoughts, opinions, if you think you're possessed like me now. But yeah, see you in the next one. Peace.